This is Cutting Down the Nets, February 16th. It's Thursday. This will be a quick video. There's quite a few games on the schedule, but not too many plays for myself. And yesterday's got a little long, going game by game through the Torvik and that type of stuff. So I'll go a little faster today. For the year, 52%. Kind of explain why yesterday. Kind of a frustrating day so far. We'll kind of see how it shakes out, but I don't know, couple melts. Whatever. The last two games that I had queued up and was looking at the odds screen all day, kind of waiting for a half point to push me over the edge, were UMass Lowell and Upstate. Sat them out. They both won, but that's being pretty result oriented, which I don't like to do. So, no complaints. Let's move on. Let's go to our schedule. We will start at the top. We have Southern Miss and their gaudy record, traveling to South Alabama. Paddy has this around 4. Shot quality likes Southern Miss short, and it's 1.5 right now. So I do like the idea of fading Southern Miss. I don't know if this is the spot for sure. Just hoping that line grows. Sometimes you'll see that, hey, just get up to 3, and I'd feel a lot better about it. So that's why that one is orange, just a little under the shot quality marks there. Next up, we've been running hot with Elon. Got a little cute as they were laying 6.5 their last game, but I think they started 1-18, 0-18, something like that for the year. They're now winners of 5 out of 7, I think. Don't quote me on that. So College Charleston, best team in the conference, comes to Elon. Shot quality has this around 9. Paddy's in that 4 to 7 range. I say it's a sleepy spot because Charleston's running away with the conference, but every game in the Colonial is, I guess, a sleepy spot for Charleston. They just look really, really strong. So this would be a real test. Now, Elon funnels everything to the three-point line. I think their three-point defense pushes a 43% three-point rate, something like that. And Charleston shoots a lot of threes without that. So that came to fruition in the first game between these teams when Charleston shot 45 three-pointers. So certainly some high variance here, but yeah, it's a data play. They're never going to feel great. So maybe this line grows a little bit as well. I'll kind of see where Circa opens there. I've not made any plays on that yet. Next up is Northwestern State. Shot quality has this more 4 to 5. Paddy's more 8 to 10. It's a little 3-point luck driven. If you look at Southeastern Louisiana, I'll just call him Sela. If you look at Sela's profile, they're running a little bad with 3-point defense, but they may be bad with 3-point defense. Northwestern State's running pure on 3-point offense. There's a little luck involved, but I still think there's some value there. Plus, Northwestern State does have some shooters. It's not just oh yeah, they got hot recently. They've kind of shot the ball well all year. And Jamonta Black, I think, has shot 200 3-pointers. So I think it's safe to say he's a decent shooter. So kind of monitoring that one. Not quite in line with the shot quality. Stony Brook somehow laying 3.5 here. That's kind of interesting. I don't know if they should be laying points against anyone, but Bill and Mary has not looked good of late. Here's why I'm interested in this game, though. If you look at Stony Brook, I like extra opportunities. It doesn't always work. I mean, sometimes you can shoot 20 more shots than your opponent. It just doesn't matter because you're that bad. I've seen that before. But Stony Brook is not going to generate the extras, so they're going to have to make their shots. They are 358th in turnovers forced, and they're 339th in offensive rebounds. So the extras aren't going to come on the Stony side, so laying points with a bad team that doesn't generate extras, doesn't have the matchup advantages, makes me feel a little better about William and Mary. This SAU Edwardsville UT Martin game is fairly even. I mean, the line's a pick 'em. Saw some -1s out there on the UTM side. Look, it's a little luck on both sides. It's a little run bad on both sides. 4 factors are pretty even. There's no green, there's no red. These are pretty evenly matched teams. On a neutral court, Paddy Median would have Edwardsville favored by a little bit and Martin favored by a little bit. But this game is not on a neutral. It's at UT Martin. So if you look at recent shot quality, and Paddy favor the UT Martin side. That's why I do this. So probably stick with it. Look, I hate when people do this, so I'm going to pause before this Monmouth game and give a speech. This line is now 4.5. I bet 6.5 earlier. Here's the deal. I posted this spreadsheet at like 4 o'clock Central Time today when the line was 7.5. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks to have a video where you're like, yeah, I played this and that line's not available to you. But I actually communicated via a spreadsheet posting that there was a better line than I even took at that time. I just don't always like to grab them so early. So with that 4.5, now you have to decide what to do if you haven't played this game yet. So let me sell Monmouth either way here. Monmouth, really bad three-point shooting team this season. They had a 10-game stretch where they went 28 out of 154 from three, which is so hard to do. I feel like I could do that, maybe not from half court, but I mean, come on. But recent play favors Monmouth, and those 10 games fall kind of in the Paddy range as well. So that's kind of interesting that you could be that cold from three and still show as a Paddy play. What really stands out to me, too, is Monmouth is actually 49th in turnovers forced, and Northeastern is 335th in ball protection. This line is now 4.5, though, so that is something to consider. Let's just, you know what, live production meeting. Let's just pull up Monmouth here and look at them. Oops. All right, not Maine. Come on. Scrolling down to our bench mob heroes of Monmouth. All right, yeah, 6-21, number 353. Not great. So Paddy is looking at the last 6 to 15 games, but this is the stretch I'm talking about. This is the 10-game stretch here. So that's right in kind of the heart of Paddy, so to speak. So kind of interesting. And they had a recent 14 out of 30 game, which is going to kill your defensive efficiency too. So all these 60s, 70s, 80s are not going to be 105s or anything like that, but they, with adequate shooting, probably become 95s and things like that, which would make this an even stronger play. So you could wait to see if the 4.5 bounces back, but I'm just saying, like, I like this play, and if this game just opened and it was like 4.5, I'd still be considering it. So that's all I'll say there. All right. Skipping NDSU and Kansas City because it's just like, it's close for me. I did say that Paddy and Median are on both sides of the line. Not quite, but it's a little thin. I'll look at that one. Maybe it'll become orange. Ohio State and Iowa. Woo, boy. Okay. Unfortunately, I had tickets to this game I had to give up. My company has an office in Iowa City, and I grab tickets when I can and had planned some travel down there, and unfortunately that travel kind of got moved around, so yeah, not going to the game. Kind of a bummer. So Iowa laying 7. Iowa's good at home. All Big Ten teams are kind of good at home. Ohio State has been atrocious. So can they turn it around at any point? You'd think so, but you'd also be playing that game for the last, 6 games, and they're not competitive in those games. So concerns here for me. I would never trust Iowa's offense or Iowa's defense. I would always trust Iowa's offense. Historically, this is about when the Fran fade occurs. Typically, Iowa's in that, like, man, are they going to be a 3 seed or a 2 seed or a 1 seed? I mean, I remember one year with Aaron White, Iowa got to number 1 in KenPom, and I think they that year entered the tournament as a 7 seed or something like that, maybe even a play-in game. Like, my God. So that's always possible. But in the last 10 games. Ohio State is 150th in Torvik's rankings. That's right between Gardner-Webb and Lipscomb, if you're wondering. So that's where these numbers come from. Recent shot quality 11.4 and Paddy 11.4. So could Iowa win between 11 and 12 points? That would be kind of the nuts there. So we'll kind of see what happens. So I've grabbed 7. That line hasn't moved much. There's at least 7.5s out there. Georgia, Southern, and Marshall. This is a revenge game for Marshall. One of their few losses. I don't see any inconsistencies. Not seeing a lot of luck or run bad on either side. Look at the 4 factors. Like, they're all fairly neutral. There's no like massive advantages in rebounding, free throw rates, or turnovers. Shot quality's got this in that 2 to 3 possession. Paddy's in the 2 to 3 possession, and we're getting 3+ possessions here. So, yeah, a little concerned. Marshall at home, avenging a loss, but sounds a bit narrative-y to me. Penn State versus Moorhead. Paddy has a 7 to 11. Recent shot quality 7, but year-to-date shot quality closer to a pick'em, and this line is at 3.5. Both teams lifted a bit by 3-point luck. Just a data play for me. Move on to Texas State, Appalachian State. Appalachian State really cooled off, but they show us a play here. It's a grinder, though. This might be like 62 possessions, so I don't love to lay points in those grinders, because if you fall down, it's just hard to not only get back, but get back and take the lead enough to cover. Can be kind of an uphill battle there. So, yeah, I'm in at a possession or less. Probably don't know if it'll come, and may bite on the 3.5. We'll see. Oh, back on Pacific. Here we go. Shot quality loves Pacific here. That's crazy. -6, but concerns with how much, that's supposed to be field goals, how much close field goals they allow. Basically, like 48% of the shots they allow are close twos or dunks. So that's not good from a defensive standpoint, but they're owed some regression. And, yeah, Paddy has San Francisco by less than possession. So just wondering with the records of these teams if that 4.5 could go up a little bit. I'll see where Circa opens here soon. Some games way down the board that are orange. Orange just because all data points here would favor the Eastern Illinois side. It's just a little thin. All data points here would favor the Western Kentucky side, but that's also a little thin. However, recent shot quality actually has that flipped with Western Kentucky actually favored. So that one's pretty interesting too. And then way down here, another all data points favoring the North Florida side. So, I don't know, kind of interesting. See where that takes me. So I have played 2 so far, Monmouth and Iowa. Strongly considering the next 4, Elon, Tennessee Martin, Georgia Southern, and Moorhead, and then have a few on my radar. Again, my process is see where Circa opens, see where people I respect bet, and that kind of sways me one way or the other. Either gets me off the fence and I bet it, or puts me in a sit-out position. So, this is cutting down the nets. Hopefully I finished today strong. It looks like Texas A&M has finally taken the lead. See if they can screw that up, and see y'all tomorrow night.